Hi friends, it's Christina TnT again, bringing you 20-minute conversations to ignite motivation in your life and business through the COVID-19 crisis and beyond. We are definitely going to continue this series once things mellow out and get back to a little bit of normal, if we even know what normal is anymore. And so today we have Leslie Ellis with us, and I'm so blessed that she is spending time to provide her input. And we'll just start off with Leslie. Thank you, and tell everyone a little bit about who you are and what you do.
All right. Well, thanks, Christina. It's fun to be doing this interview with you and to see you here on Zoom since we're not able to get together in person.
I'm missing our hikes.
I am missing our hikes too. So yeah, but I'm Leslie Ellis with Heartsong Yoga Wellness and Coaching, and I'm a soul-based life coach and yoga therapist. And gosh, what to say about that? I help people to make the changes in their lives that they want to make, whether it's physical, they want to get healthier or heal an injury. I can help them to understand themselves, their bodies more fully. And I do that on the emotional realm also. If people have habits that they want to change, circumstances that they want to change, I can help them often to kind of look through a new lens at themselves and see things a little differently and see a way to solving some of the problems that they have or the challenges that they're facing.
Yeah, well, speaking of challenges, have you, do you work a lot of one-on-one in person with your clients? And because I know you teach classes and things like that. So right now with social distancing, how has that impacted what you do and what you can provide?
Well, it's interesting. I do work a lot in person with people. I teach classes. I have a yoga teacher training that I do, and I see private clients. But I also do work online. A lot of the coaching that I do and even yoga therapy, I offer online, and it's really curious to me, and it's been a blessing, I guess, that I'm working more now than I was working before this crisis, and mostly on Zoom. But you know, people are needing support.
Yes.
And as a yoga teacher, and I also teach meditation, I've found that people are coming to me and saying, like, I need some way to be calm. I need some way to like manage what it is that's going on in my mind, as well as like in the world and my reactions to it, my feelings about it. So I'm doing regular meditation classes and yoga classes online with a group of students who have come together in community, kind of like we all need that connection with people, even though we're socially distanced, right? And people have reached out and started interacting more with family and friends and all that. Zoom's been this amazing tool for people. But to have people who have some kind of common framework or looking at the world and want to use the time for personal healing and growth, and not to just sort of whittle it away watching Netflix and although all of us are doing a lot of that, right?
A little bit. Trying not to.
I found a couple of new really good shows. But being able to come together consistently in a community with a group of people, I think has been really helpful for people. So I'm blessed. I'm getting to work more than I was working prior to this. And yeah, I love the work that I do. So I just feel so, well, you know, it's twofold, right? I feel sad that people are needing so much more support, and also blessed, I guess, that I'm able to give that and to hold that space for people in that way.
That's amazing. that you have this opportunity and that you're taking it, because a lot of people don't feel that way. and they can
Right.
see this as a roadblock. And the fact that you're out there providing guidance and support is
Mm-hmm.
such a wonderful thing. What are some little bits of advice or recommendations that you could offer our audience today that they can do in their home, or just on a day-to-day basis?
Mm-hmm.
Just a little
Yeah.
snippet of what you provide.
Yeah. Well, I think a big piece is moving your body. And so whether that's making sure you get out for a walk every day or doing even some simple stretches. There's tons of information and classes going on online, and so you can get involved with that. But even just doing something simple on your own, I feel like people sometimes when they get stressed, they might spend more time in front of their screens, or if people are working from home or they have kids that they're homeschooling, it's just like a lot of people are feeling like more busy than they felt previously, just because our roles have changed and there's a lot of uh, kind of information and all the things that are going on in the world pulling on our attention. So move your body. The other thing would be have some time, and I know a lot of people will say like, that's impossible, everybody's home in my house, but have some time for yourself where you can actually be quiet and still. I've seen that people are, again, like busier than ever. And one of our things that we as humans like to do is distract ourselves from discomfort or anything that feels like a challenge. We'll try to get out of it. And what I have found from in all of my practice and teaching, that it's actually really helpful to come to what it is that's going on. Like hold it out and breathe and relax, acknowledging what it is that's happening. And it helps some of the kind of sharpness and intensity of the overwhelm or the feeling that happens with it to soften. It's not the natural way that people usually go. It's like, well, if I could just get away from that and like either, get distracted from it or have something that I can pretend it's not happening for a while. But avoidance is never actually the most effective way to cope with a challenge. I think acknowledging it is much more effective. And then the last thing I would say is get outside and enjoy nature. We're so, as a culture and a world, really disconnected from our natural world. Even here in Central Oregon, where everybody loves to be outside, from some of the nuance of what the natural world can share with us and teach us, we're disconnected. All the people are inside and we're hearing all these stories about how the air is cleaner. We have pretty good air anyway, but all over the world, like the air is cleaner in big cities, the water is cleaner, animals are like coming up. In Thailand there was an animal, now I can't even think of what it's called, but it's kind of like a sea cow that's like shown up in the waters near shore that hasn't been seen for a long time or is hardly ever seen, just because there's fewer people there. So I almost got myself distracted, but
it's okay.
But yeah, like connecting to nature. There's a chance that we have to maybe, like when we start all going out in the world again, not to just be so overbearing. That's one of my hopes. Like, could humans quit being so overbearing on the natural world and like interact and have a relationship that's more healthy? So go outside now and like look at the trees and look at the sky and feel the ground. Don't just go do something else, but actually go out and be in nature.
Yeah, I know I've been trying to go outside and just sit. Leave my phone, don't have a plan or a chore that I have to do. Just go out there and sit and listen and smell and feel. And what I realize is I live in an aviary. Like there are this
Isn't it
mass
amazing?
amounts of trees around me, and I just sat and watched, because right now there aren't a lot of buds and leaves on the tree, so I can still see through, and I can see all of the birds and their nests, and they're coming down and grabbing the goat hair and, you know, some of the straw from the pig pen and building their nests. And I'm like, this is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I've never really sat out there and realized that.
Yeah, isn't it great? And you live in a place that, you don't live in an urban area.
Mm-hmm.
And many of us in Central Oregon, it's not urban here. Um, and still there can be that little disconnect because we're so busy in our lives, not only in our lives, but in our minds. It's
Yeah, we
busy,
always
busy,
say
busy.
busy is a four-letter word. It's a bad word.
That's good, yeah.
So, what are
Mm.
some positive outcomes? You know, we've kind of transitioned into that conversation. Some positive outcomes that you've seen in your own life, or maybe in community, that has come about from all of this.
Mm-hmm. Well, like I said, in my own life, I'm working and I'm connecting with people, and I feel like that's been wonderful. Another thing that I could share, maybe it's helpful for other people, but I work from home already, so in some ways there's not huge changes. Clearly there's huge changes, but in some ways, like I'm used to being home, but
Mm-hmm.
my partner is home now too. And like many other people, my house is busier because of that, or like full of more activity during the day. But one of the positive things is that because we're both home, we we're both like we pay attention enough, I guess, to notice what's happening. Instead of just getting caught up in the stress of all of it, we've been on purpose talking to each other about the challenges of both of us being at home, and really um, being very conscious and intentional about taking time together, about how we relate with each other, so that we don't let the stress of what's going on in the world and our like closer proximity to each other have a negative effect. Um, let's see. And then for people, I just feel like there's been this real surge of people wanting to connect. It's so funny. We have to physically distance or even social distance away from each other. And that has made people open their eyes to like, oh, connection's really important. And I feel like the connection has a different flavor to it. Like instead of just getting together and like, chatting or gossiping or whatever, people are actually wanting to really connect and hear something from each other that's a little deeper, a little bit more meaningful.
You know, with that too, it makes me think that all of the times that people get together and they're just on their phones together.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that what a lot of people bring out of this is that when they are together, they are fully present and with that person and respecting the time and appreciating that they get to be together. Because right
Yeah.
now, like, I love being on Zoom calls with my friends and everything, but it is not the same.
Right.
You know, the body language is still missing. Like, I can only see this much of you, you know? And there's just that, you know, being able to comfort someone with the touch on their arm, or
Mm-hmm.
hug, or offer a tissue or anything. Oh man,
Yeah.
it's
I think we're really realizing in a way how important our physical closeness is, whether we're actually touching or not, that there is something that happens in our interaction with each other when we are close.
mm-hmm.
And that physical touch, people are really missing it, especially people who live alone. I think it's very, very challenging. And yeah, I, like you, hope that when people come back out, that we don't just immediately forget it, like start to
Mm-hmm.
take it for granted again, that we're really yeah, we use it as a way just to be more kind with each other and present with each other. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, it's interesting. I'm looking forward to moving forward
Mhm.
and see where all of this goes.
Yeah.
So what are you doing, or what advice could you offer those watching on how to keep pushing through this and making sure that they're staying motivated and staying on some path to get to the light?
Mm.
Do you have any tips?
I do.
Good.
My first tip is don't push. Yeah. So because that is kind of our tendency, it's like we want to get somewhere. So instead of pushing forward to get somewhere, get inspired where you are.
I like that.
And yeah, that's, we think motivation means like, oh, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? But what if you could get inspired where you are? And then go from there. Go from there. I was reading this poem yesterday, or all week actually, and let me see if I can remember it. I'm not going to be able to remember the whole thing, but she talks about creating a clearing in the dense forest of your life and listening for the song that is your own song. She says, like, let it fall into your cupped hands so that then you know kind of what to do next. And that I find that for my own personal motivation, that if I can start from where I am instead of from where I want to be, that is really helpful.
Yes. I like that. Just slow down a little and
Mm-hmm.
just be.
Yeah.
Yes. Any others? I love it. I'm
Mhm.
like, can we hear some more?
Yeah,
I
let's
always
see.
love chatting with you when we're going on our hikes. You provide the best insight and help me look
Mm.
at things differently because I'm a go, 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 like thrive and just want to keep challenging myself. But you help me remember to just slow down and breathe
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
breathing is a
appreciate.
good tip.
Yeah, yeah.
Breathing is a good tip. Um, I think one other thing is that when we can stop and slow down and even have some stillness or some quiet, it actually helps us to envision more about what we want, because we often move, or even like we try to think ourselves into the future. We
Mhm.
try to think about, problem solve, figure out what it is that we need to do, instead of being more really deeply internally motivated by what's going on. And I don't mean like just to push yourself and you can do it kind of thing. Be internally motivated by what is important to you, not what's important so much to the outer world, because we're all influenced by that, right? Like trying to please other people or do what we think other people will appreciate, um, trying to make a difference even. But there is something really sweet and beautifully unique inside each and every one of us that is an offering that we can make. And you can only really do that and connect to it if you let yourself connect to it. So to do that, having some time in your day, like I love what you were saying, just to go outside and sit and listen. Feel the air on your skin. Sit in the grass, sit under a tree. I like to lean against trees, or even I climb up in them. When there's this tree out in this property across the road from me, and I can climb up in the tree and I just sit up there and like think, but the thinking is like different than when I'm sitting at my desk or at my computer thinking, right, about what I want to do. So having some space where you're not trying to figure out the next thing to do, where you're just being. And I think also having consistency and some routine, especially, well, always, but you know, here we are and all of our routines are changed. And so one thing I think to have, get a time in your day and make a consistent routine. And the routine has particular elements to it. It's not just like doing the same thing every day, like having dinner at the same time every day. It's your self-care routine. And not just, you know, making sure that you get up and take a shower and brush your teeth, even though nobody's going to see you except on Zoom. But your self-care, like what nourishes your heart? And how can you, what little thing could you do like every day that nourishes your heart and reminds you of who you are?
That's great. Thank you. I know you have so much more to provide. So where can the audience follow you or find you if they have more questions or want to know more about what you offer?
Yeah, thanks, Christina. I appreciate that because I love connecting with people and I love teaching. Like I love the work that I do. So if anybody else, you know, is curious about it, I'd love to talk with them. So I'm on Facebook at it's Heart Song Yoga and Coaching with Leslie Ellis. And then my website is yogaheartsong.com.
Okay, I'll make sure to get those links added too in our notes so that people can click through, make it a little bit easier.
Yeah, perfect.
And did you mention that you had something that people will be able to listen in on?
Yeah, I'd love to share. I did a meditation with a group of my students yesterday where I did a guided meditation and I read poetry. And I love reading poetry. So if you're interested in that, I will have that up on my website and we could put that link in too. And so it's a recorded meditation and a little poetry reading by me, hopefully some inspiration around patience is actually the topic. So,
that is definitely needed right now.
Yeah, for sure. So I'd love to share that.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Leslie.
Thank you, Christina. This was fun.
Yeah. So it's Christina TnT with Leslie Ellis today. It is April 24th, 2020, and we are bringing you conversations to ignite motivation to get you through life and business during these changing times. Be sure to subscribe, click like so that you can follow and see what else is coming up. We'll see you guys next time.
Okay.